snack pack. Okay. You're good.
Hello, am I good?
You're
Am
good.
I live?
You are.
Oh
live.
my goodness, I am still alive. Thank you guys. Really appreciate you joining us today. I hope all of you guys had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we had a wonderful weekend too, except in Cleveland, Brown lost to the Steelers.
Yeah.
It was disappointing, very, very disappointing, depressed, frustrated game for us,
Yeah.
right? Obviously for the Steelers, they really had a good time, right?
Yeah.
So we just to make sure the Browns will all wake up at the right side of the bed next weekend. Right, Paul?
That's
make sure they
correct.
will do that.
It was pretty bad.
It was pretty bad.
I
Okay.
couldn't watch that.
Right. So that being said, I hope your team doing very well. Okay. And obviously, today is a Monday, so we have to start all over again. So today we want to really identify a subject which everybody talk a lot, not just for the industry. We're also talking about the energy stuff. Everybody try to identify specific segment of the market. Then we kind of zoom into their market to make sure their market is doing what we need. It's the opportunities for all of us here. So today we really focus on the multifamily. Okay. Now I always wondering about that. For how many years? More than 20 years. Every day people talk about multifamily, right, Leslie?
Yeah.
So this morning I charging Leslie.
He said, "Oh, okay," and then he's like, "What's multifamily?"
What's multifamily? That's exactly what happened, right? I was wondering about it. What's multifamily? Okay, is that talk about more than one family together or what? I mean.
So multifamily housing is like apartment buildings. So
Okay.
anywhere where you have multiple families living in the same dwelling,
Yeah.
that's managed by, one management company.
So is it like when Jared moves his whole family in with me?
It could be.
Yes, it could be that too. Okay, right. So yeah, in other words, it's not as kind of apartment buildings in one.
Apartment building is
How about townhouse?
townhouses, yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
sure. But if you talk about that, you talk about.
And it's the other thing to keep in mind is it's all about rentals. So it's not, I don't own the property that I live in. I rent it from someone else.
Okay, so it's a rental property.
Correct.
Okay, that's good. That's
Multiple
at least.
families and a rental.
And the rental. Okay, that's a lot of those multifamily. No, based
So
on
now
that.
do you know what that is?
Yes, I
Okay.
do now. Okay, more than one. For instance, if Jerry and move into Paul's house, they become multifamily. Okay.
As long as Paul charges him rent
I'm
and
gonna charge him a lot of rent.
there's a separate I'm sure it's a little more complex than that.
Oh, vice versa. Hey, Jerry, Paul can move into you. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
then you can charge him a lot of money.
Oh,
That sounds better.
Is that sounds better?
Yeah, that sounds
Okay,
cool.
sounds good.
I think he's got a basement
So,
apartment.
so why you identify that say has to be a rental?
Mhm.
Is there any special meaning with this kind of project?
I'm confused by your question.
Okay, my question is, at the beginning, you're talking multifamilies,
Yeah.
like apartment buildings, this and that, blah, blah. The second thing you said has to be rental. That means somebody pay rent.
Correct.
Is that any meaningful why people have to pay rent? So the owner of their properties will take advantage of certain things? Why does it relate to the rent?
Well, they have to pay rent because one, the person that's going to be living in think of an apartment building, right?
Sure.
Like you have to pay rent to live there.
Sure.
If I own that property, I'm not just going to let you live there for free, Alice.
Right.
In your own little apartment, like I'm going to charge you every single month because I have property taxes, I have maintenance costs, I have people that manage that facility for me. So I have all these other fees that,
So yeah, in
I
other
have
words,
to take care of. So you aren't going to own that piece of property.
so yeah, in other
but
words,
I
you
own
as
it.
an owner, you also pay the utility bill.
You pay the utility
Ah,
bills.
now
and
we're
it-
talking.
Each
Right.
one's a little different.
Sure.
But also think about the utility bill is different in the units versus the common area
Sure.
too. Because a lot of these apartment complexes and townhome complexes and all these big places, not only do they have really nice inside apartments, but then they have hallways, they have, common spaces. Maybe
Sure.
they have a fitness center, a pool, a
Oh,
game
I see.
room, all kinds of different things in all different levels that they need to make sure that they're taking advantage of, that you as a renter can use because you pay to live there.
I see. So let's say way back, okay,
Okay.
10, 15 years ago.
Okay, I wasn't
At
alive.
that time, people were talking about multifamily, right? Multifamily, not a
Multifamily is
new,
a huge thing.
new name
It's
here,
not a
right?
new concept.
Okay, so however,
In
at
fact,
that
can I
time,
give you some good stats?
oh sure,
Okay, because I did some research on this. So by 2030,
yeah,
right, so 10 years from now, we will need 4.6 million
Yeah,
new multifamily facilities.
4.6 million new units.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That means new
that's
buildings.
a big number. Yeah.
New buildings.
New buildings.
Wow. Okay.
With that.
That's a lot of
That's a lot.
units.
So every single year from now until 2030, we're going to have to be building 328,000 a year
A year.
to accommodate this population.
Not just talking about older ones.
No,
Okay.
not just like retrofit. This is new facilities
Sure.
because there's a really great stat right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
that people my age
Sure.
don't actually want to own their own home.
Right.
They'd much prefer to rent
Sure. Okay.
because they don't want to do the maintenance and, you know, fix the siding that falls off every 6 months or the roof, or they don't want
I
to
see.
hire a landscaper. They
Sure.
just want to have a nice place to live that's nicely done
Yeah.
and have all the accommodations.
But I thought there's something a little bit different these days today and way back to 10, 15 years ago. Because 10, 15 years ago, all the so-called landlords worry about is savings, right?
Yep.
So at that time, we sold lots of CFLs into those multifamilies. They just simply screwing to make sure they can save as much as they can, right?
That is a huge part of it as well, Ellis,
Sure.
because some of these
But
units,
at that time, right?
yeah, and that's still a huge part of what they want to take advantage of, because again, it gets back to that common space,
Sure.
and that gives them another reason to like promote their units. So if I'm going in as someone that's looking to rent and you tell me that it's all brand new LED lighting throughout my unit that I'm going to rent
Sure.
with energy efficient appliances and stuff,
Sure.
then I look at my cost of living,
Yeah.
you know, like as, oh, okay, so instead of it being $40 a month, maybe it'll be 30.
Correct. It's still another $10,
Yeah.
right?
You know,
Okay,
and as a renter, that's important to me.
But I also feel like these days, okay, your generation, I think your people are more fussy about the quality of the lights instead of just savings.
Well, I'd say we're fussy about the aesthetic in general.
Right.
So not only are we fussy about the energy savings, but the whole aesthetic of the whole place.
Sure. Okay. Also, I believe the younger generation is more adapted to the technologies too. For the lighting
love
technology,
technology. Right? I mean, if all of my friends, if you say LED lighting, they know what it is and they want it in their home or their apartment.
Okay. So that being said, we today talking about multifamily has a new definition. Okay. The new definition really look at not just the savings. Savings become giving.
That's a given.
That's a given, okay? But beyond that, they want to look at the technology, the performance, how the light bulb will aesthetic, how the light bulb lighting will do for them, or how are they going to enjoy it, you know, the whole nine yards.
Everything, all together.
All together.
Yep.
Now, make our life a little bit difficult.
It makes it really challenging because you have to service a lot of different masters with that, meaning that you have a lot of different people that are involved in the decision-making process because you have the landlords that, you know, they want to have something that's affordable for them. And then you have the people that are going to be the tenants. So they want to have something that looks good and is energy efficient, but looks good and performs the way they want it.
Right, exactly.
And then you're also going to have, you know, these other factors like Energy Star or rebate people that, you know, you can get advantage of discounts for just putting the product in.
Oh yeah, okay, so
there's all kinds of different avenues that you
but in the meantime, I also see the limitation too, because limitation is from the landlord, we have to understand that the younger generation, what kind of things they need. But we really couldn't give them everything. We have to pick and choose based on technology-based costs, all things.
I think, because within multifamily, you're going to have a lot of different segments, right? Because you're going to have lots of different price points based on what people can afford. So you're going to have like maybe a lower end, a medium range, and a high end within these. So I think there's that you got to factor into as well, Ellis.
So yeah, in other words, is from landlord point of view, not just we have to pick the technology, we have to put something the younger generation like, but the most important, we have to look at the cost too, right? Affordable for the landlord or not for people to live there, not the tenant. It's a landlord, right?
Absolutely.
That make our lighting people become we have a challenge to face.
We have a lot of masters when you look at that. So you can't just look at it like multifamily building 328,000 units a year. You kind of got to look at it in each individual subset.
Right. So that being said, let's go back to look at a 4.6 new units. If you talk about 328,000 units. When we talk about
year.
units, that means the units has a kitchen, the
All
living
the
room, the
spaces.
bathroom, right?
Mhm.
Normally we'll have 2 bathrooms, 2
Sometimes
living rooms, 2
you don't
bathrooms
know.
over there. We have all the spaces. So I would say average room start from the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. You talk about between 5 to 6 rooms,
Oh, for sure.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, 5 to 6 rooms, I would say average 5 to 6 rooms. Even take a conservative of 5 rooms, 5 and 5. I mean, you're talking about up to 25 to 30 sockets out there,
Could
or
be.
fixtures, or something related.
Could be
to that.
less.
Could be less or no less than 20.
I don't know, Alice. I'm
Okay.
trying to think back to my apartment.
Okay, so your apartment, think about that. That could be as low as maybe the 15. Okay. Right? Keep thinking.
So I had a pretty small apartment when I first got out of college.
Okay,
And I think I probably had 10 fixtures in there
10 fixtures
in total.
in total,
Mhm.
altogether. But when you look at a bathroom, do you talk about
Each individual bulb.
Oh,
Yeah.
you count.
I had a 4
you
socket
can't-
over
you count
the
each-
sink. I had a small apartment.
You count each
Yeah.
individual too. So let's take a 10. 10,
Mhm.
they're talking about 3.28 million socket opportunities
Sure.
for
And
every
that's
single year.
that's like,
Right,
medium,
but
again, we
that's
go back
just-
to those affordable ranges.
Sure, but that's the that's the new one. You haven't looked into the old one.
Oh, the old ones,
Okay.
there's tons out
Oh
there.
yeah, I would bet you 100% the older one, the 50% of the older ones still have the old, I shouldn't say old, the TCP's
RCFLs.
compact fluorescence
Mhm.
over there. Okay?
Well, I
So
remember
those need to be
a few
changed out
years,
too.
more than a few years ago at this point, about 4 years ago,
Yeah.
when I was looking at apartments, I went into a bunch of them, and the second you flip the switch, and it took like 5 seconds for the light bulbs to turn on, I'm like, oh, it's got CFLs.
Right, exactly. So you see, we have a big job to do.
Huge.
Multifamily is huge.
Mhm.
So let's talk about technology first.
I want to
Okay?
do one more stat before we
Okay,
talk
one
about.
more. Yeah.
32% of people today don't want to own their own home.
Wow.
Like
That's
they don't
interesting.
want to be responsible for that. That's not a thing for them. That's not a life dream. They would much rather rent.
Okay.
Mhm.
So they would like to spend their time and money on something else.
Other things,
Right,
don't
other
want to
things,
deal with it.
They would like to enjoy it.
Wish
right.
I didn't have to deal with it.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. So that being said, we really need to look at how TCP look into that. So here's my overall thought, Leslie. Okay. I look at 2 different technology we're having today,
Okay.
and I think it could be useful to increase the landlord's effort to appeal to provide to the younger
Additional
generation.
value
Right.
to the tenants.
Okay,
Mhm.
right? So the 2 technology we talked about, one last time was the color flip.
Oh, we got to talk about color flip.
Right.
I think this is the perfect product for multifamily.
Sure.
Whether you're a like lower end type of rent
Right.
space to a higher end, I think color flip's a fantastic technology for anybody that's doing rentals. What do you think, Paul?
Color flip is awesome because, you can do those multi-tasks in one lamp. I
Right.
love it.
And it would be great. It doesn't matter if you're like the highest end apartment or
Yeah.
the lowest end apartment. It's at an affordable price point. It's
Sure.
got great technology and it offers additional value.
Yeah, because you might want to have different scenes or setups and, not want to pay for a lot of technology there. And you can just use the color flip and get that ambience and atmosphere that you like.
But why don't we talk about what color flip actually is? Because
Okay,
there might
sure.
be some people that
Exactly.
don't know.
Right, because we talked about this before, we just want to talk about this one more time, okay? We call the color flip, okay? So we're talking about this flips 2 colors, okay? Any colors is not 2 colors. You can flip between the CCT or 2 other colors too. So let's say I have a 2700K right now, okay? It could be for any light bulbs, could be for any fixtures, by the way, okay? So right now I'm at 2700K. You're just using a regular switch on the wall, or you have to turn off, turn back on again. Done.
41, what?
Right. Okay,
Pretty
then you
cool.
turn off again, you turn back on again, it become 27 again. So just imagine, also the bulb is very smart. If the bulb will remember the last time you set up, if you turn the lights off for more than 10 seconds.
It'll
For
remember
each-
the latest color.
Right.
So you turn it off and then you wait a little while, you jib jab about,
Right. So in other words, when you
Things.
finish the work, Okay, you're not finished your work. You just need get something.
Yeah.
You turn the lights off. When you come back, when the lights coming back, still stay at the same one as a 41. Or you were doing the cooking. You run out. I don't know vegetables. You run to the store. You come back. You're 27 again.
again.
So that's why we feel this color flip. It's
just perfect, and you can go
it's just a perfect
anywhere, like your dining room, your living room, heck, even in your closet or your bedroom. You're getting ready in the morning. You want to see, you know, a little bit different light level, just so that you can kind of see. Put it on 41K, then you flip it to 27 at night, or maybe you want to read. Lots of options. Lots of
options. So that's one technology we feel very obviously. Remember we talk about this is we're releasing couple of things. Number one is we are bringing the products in the small quantity. We believe the 27 and the 41 is the most popular ones.
Absolutely.
However, we believe in the family side, some people like to get a little bit warmer, so we actually bring in the 2400 and the 3000. We just want to set up another color, just in case you like it. We believe between 24 and the 3000 and the 27 and the 4100, that
cover
colors huge portion of everybody what you need out there. Okay, so that's just on the color on the CCT side. Obviously, we try to have some fun for the holidays. We're able to flip from 27 to red, green, and a blue, and
just 1, 2, 1, 2. It doesn't go 27 red, green, blue. 27 red, 27 green, different product, 27 blue, different
Believe it or not, we also released 27 yellow. It's a
Why would you
light.
want that, Ellis?
It's a bug light.
Oh, you could put that outside.
Put outside.
Maybe you're on the patio.
Sure.
I like
you see what I mean? Okay.
So if I am, you know, building a multifamily facility, that would be good for the outdoor use too.
Absolutely.
So let's say I've got like a pool area, and I've got sconces on the outside of my pool. That color flip would be a good option for that.
Exactly. Right. And again, you know, you can do is a backlight, or you can just leave the red, blue, green out there. Right. And just in case when the holiday comes, based on the holiday, you can turn it into the colorful.
Or it looks really festive. I was walking by a apartment building this weekend downtown, and it had all different colors wall washing up and down the building. So that was kind of cool.
That's really cool. I think people very get excited. So I think this color flip concept. Now also something very interesting, Leslie, is also it's dimmable.
It is.
So
I like that.
When you flip to the certain color, let's say you flip to 4100K, it dims on the 4100K, just in case you have a dimmer.
Well, and I like that personally. I have color flip in my dining room at the house. Talk about it all the time, because I can do that. I can work, and then I don't like it as intense. I like it down just a little bit, so I can move it down to about 50% and still feel good, feel comfortable.
Yeah. Okay, so that dimmer is really helped tremendously.
Absolutely.
So we can do both of those. So I think that's one of those things. Also, we want to make this product available to all of your guys. Okay.
But it really is the perfect product for multifamily because of the fact that it's versatile, it's fancy, but it's still affordable. Like it's a higher end technology that's still at a very affordable price point. So you can, as a building owner, say like, oh, I'm going to put energy efficient color flip technology in my building. It offers that additional feature to my tenants in places like maybe the dining room where they've got like a simple fixture, or maybe the bathroom. And that allows them to do two different things in there. But it kind of brings it back to that same simple, you know, it's a feature and a benefit to the tenant, but not hitting the landlord's pocketbook significantly.
But at the same time, was the last show or show before, people asking, hey, can you put a soliciting in it? Yes, absolutely. So I would say, let's just releasing what we have right now.
That would be fancy though.
Right, that's releasing what we right now. I think before the end of the year, we'll have a solistic color flip ready for everybody. Okay?
I think that's fantastic.
I think so too.
So,
let's
move in. That's number one. Number two that I put on the list of products that I think would be great for multifamily housing, and this is probably more on your higher end multifamily houses.
Yeah, what do you mean about the good light? How do you define the good light?
Good life?
Oh, it's a life. I thought it's a good life. Or it's a good life. Wow.
which is
Okay.
our Good Life line
Sure.
of warmed-in filament products.
Right.
So those products go from 27K down to 1800K on a standard dimmer, and they're beautiful products because of the fact that they have that old-timey look and feel. It's very modern, it's very in, it's very trendy right now. So if I'm maybe in that mid to high-end type of apartment building,
Sure.
this would be something that I'd want to have.
Yeah. Actually, as you can see, this all applies to the filament bulb side.
Absolutely.
Okay. Actually, as you can see, we also have another name. One side is called the Good Life, the other side called Illusion.
Right.
Because when we dim the filament lamps, it changes the color from 30,000K or 2700 down to 1800. That's a
That
very
warm
high
dimming.
end. Very, very high end. Right.
Well, and I could see that as being in like a couple of the higher end apartments
Sure.
that I was looking at had pendants
Yeah.
over like the counters.
Sure.
And they had filament product in it. In fact, it bothered me because they were very green. And you know how much I hate those green filaments. So,
Green is actually the deviation from not
The
good quality
phosphor.
of the
Mhm.
phosphor, right? So that's come from the green side.
but ours aren't green, and they'd
Right.
be a fantastic product to put in those medium to high end.
Sure.
Again, offering additional aesthetically pleasing products to a higher end, so that way the landlord can take
Right.
advantage of charging a couple more bucks.
Sure, sure,
Get
sure.
the tenants taking
Yeah.
advantage of that modern look and feel.
Right. Again,
So I think that's a
again,
great one.
doesn't matter the color flip or the Good Life.
It's an affordable
Basically,
solution that
it's
has to deal around color and
Multiple
aesthetic.
colors, right? Able to, because these days one color just make people, hey, I need more colors. I mean, like Leslie mentioned the other day, we have a different preference about what we do things. Also, we have people come to the house for guests.
Sure.
Elder people like to have the
Gathering.
wide,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And the one side people want to go is a CCT as high as possible. The other side
Absolutely.
people want to go as warm as possible. You know?
Well, and you've got to have those comfort levels based on the tasks. Maybe
Correct.
you're having fancy date night dinner and you want it to be warm and very romantic feeling. Good
Correct.
Life can help you do that. But if you're, just cleaning up or having a microwave dinner, then maybe you don't care as much.
Right. So yeah, in other words, I would say color flip is a quick solution. Let
Absolutely.
give people two colors.
hmm
Good Life is a fancy solution.
Fancy. Yeah.
Right? So you have both sides. We can take care of both of those.
And that's why I put both of them on the board because I like
Right.
both.
So please look into our, we're releasing the
So the Good Life is
specs on-
available now.
Sure.
If you're interested in Good Life products, you can buy them today. We have a fantastic variety of Good Life in stock and ready to ship. If you're interested in the color flip, make sure you let us know because we're getting in some engineering samples this week. that
Right,
we're gonna
we
sample out
promise
to
people, right,
And then
either this
the
week or next week, we'll
Regular
start sending to the
products
people
gonna
register
start
with
going.
us.
Yeah, so just let us know and we'd be more than happy to get you some samples of
Yeah.
those products.
Right,
But the next product I want to talk about
okay,
is one that I think is incredibly versatile. And if you remember back in the old days, we sold thousands of these for multifamily
it's
applications.
a Freshmont City fixture.
It absolutely
Okay,
is.
that's good, let's look at the
So let's
Freshmont.
pull some of
No,
our-
those are fancy ones.
I'm gonna
cheap.
pull the fancy one.
Okay, those are the fancy ones.
I don't think we have the
No, yes, I have a plate right
Oh,
over there.
okay.
You go to start talking about fancy
I'll
ones.
talk
Let
about
me
the
find
fancy ones.
inexpensive
And in addition to this, like another thing that could work in a multifamily application, like we've done hundreds. I mean, Paul, how many of these everywhere?
Oh my God,
These,
we
not
sold,
this one, the cloud one, the simple cloud one.
we
was the one
sold
that
a
covered the
ton of
most
those units because we had a lot of hotel chains and
Right.
stuff like that that use them, that really wanted them, along with the multifamily stuff. It's a great light. It looks really nice, like in your kitchen, your hallway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I only find the
closet.
base.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened
What
to,
happened to the cloud cover?
what happened to the crop, okay?
It's okay.
I only find the base,
We
right?
don't need everything.
Sure,
But Ellis, those are the big versions. Another thing that you see a lot in those applications is this guy.
how do you call that,
So
Paul?
this is the junction
Leslie?
mount,
The junction box mounted.
Yep, the junction box mounted downlight. And
Sure.
this is a super affordable solution. It mounts directly into that J box. You wire it up and you've got a really nice small light source. It
Mhm.
pairs really well with the flush mount ceilings, and it's not crazy expensive. It's
No,
very
very
affordable.
inexpensive, by the way.
Super
okay?
affordable solution.
Inexpensive.
Smaller light source. So let's say you have a smaller room. Maybe it's an 8x8 room. I'd do this guy over that guy just because this is going to give you enough light.
Sure.
Or like a closet or something like
It's
that. That's
perfect for a
great
closet. perfect,
Right.
perfect for. our
That's
closet.
really talking about a major savings here.
Mhm.
Major.
And this
savings.
one, it doesn't, it's got a nice look, nice finish. Especially it's not destructible as well. I know that's important for some
Sure.
people when they're, depending on the different types of places that you're doing these housing at, that could be important to have something that's a little bit
Sure.
hardier because,
Exactly.
again, they don't own the location, so they might not have as much care as far as the kids throwing a ball against the ceiling or something
Yeah.
like that. So that's a good
But I still think should be a little bit more fancy than that
I
right
think these
now.
are great, and these are great not only in the units themselves, but also in like hallways or shared spaces.
Sure.
Because of the fact that they have great light output and they have we have a wide variety of looks and finishes.
Mhm.
So this is a nicer, higher end look and finish with that nickel. I like this drum look as well because it gives it a little bit more. And again, we have them in a variety of sizes and lumen packages.
Yes.
So that way it fits your space. Like,
That's kind of, I would say, this kind of replacement of the old style.
that's
the
like
old
your
circle line,
older
yeah.
Circle line.
circle line.
That's
where
kind of
this
new
is a little
style,
bit
Leslie,
more
right?
Designer,
Sure.
architectural looking. Again, these are great products. We have them in stock today here at TCP. Different lumen packages. These are Energy Star certified products, so you can take advantage of those savings as
Sure.
well. These are really, really great. But
Right.
there's one more that I want to pull.
Wow.
Up that's in the
Yeah,
same
one
family
more of that.
that-
That's really fresh now. That's a
and
cool
this one's
one.
really cool as well.
How do you consider that? I mean, this is what we call a poor man's closet, right?
Right.
How they say this is a fancy ladies
Fancy ladies closet.
closet. Okay.
So this is our slim flush mount ceiling fixture, and essentially it's a small flat panel kind of design.
Right, exactly.
What's neat about it is it's 3-color selectable, so that way when your contractor is installing it, they can select what the right color is. And then it also has magnetic rings that go on the outside of it. So let's say the designer of the apartment complex wants to use something other than white. They want to use black or nickel. We have black or nickel magnetic rings that just pop over top of this. They stick to them, and
Yes.
it just gives it a
Very
higher
good
end
choice.
designer look.
Very, very good choice.
Really nice lumen packages on these as well, and they're easy to install. There's a easy install plate, so you mount this plate onto the junction box. You do your wiring, and then you feed it through. You do your wiring, and then you just, if you didn't do it backwards, you can actually lock it back into place.
Make sure don't go
Don't go backwards.
backwards. Don't go
And then you
backwards.
just lock it back into place, and
Right.
you're good to go. Your ceiling fixture's
That's
mounted.
three.
Easy to mount,
Leslie just
easy
show
to
you
do.
3 very, very easy, but a very, very nice looking.
Flush mount ceiling
Right.
fixtures.
Okay, just
But
think
there's
about.
always the golden standard is people, if they're doing a retrofit, maybe of
Sure.
an existing
Sure.
apartment complex, there might be E26 sockets in there. You can put those A19s in there with the color flip.
That's
It's a
it.
great choice.
I tell you, that's all you need. For all the seriousness.
That's a
all
lot,
you need.
like, it's
2
pretty neat.
different.
And again,
colors.
these are great for not only in the apartments themselves, but also the common spaces. So maybe that media room or the library or the workout facility. These are great fixtures to have in
Sure.
those types of applications as well.
Okay, so now let's move on to some common areas, right?
Oh, let's keep moving.
Okay.
We were talking about the common areas, so let's keep going.
Okay, sounds good.
So one thing, when you're moving into an apartment space and maybe you live alone because you've just graduated from college and this is your first place, right?
Right.
What's one thing that you would want your daughter to make sure that she had when she's walking to her car in the morning?
Lights.
Absolutely. So as she's walking to her car in the parking garage, what do you think you're going to want in there?
I don't know. Our parking lot. I think at least must be some kind of fixture with a waterproof.
Oh, it definitely needs
Right.
to be that way.
Okay. So I understand you have something just like that.
We do. So this is our LED integrated vapor tape fixture, and
Sure.
I actually want to do a quick demo on this guy
Oh,
because
this
this
is
is pretty cool.
Now you get into
I'm
some
getting
kind
into
of
some kind of
control
fancy stuff.
control system now. Okay.
But these, we have them in 2, 4, and 8-foot versions.
Right.
And what's great about it is it's perfect for those common spaces where they need that protection from the elements. And it's just an everyday, okay look. Great for things like parking garages and the stairwells and, some places within the outsides of the building. It's just a nice look.
Sure. Normally, when you're talking about sensors
Mm-hmm.
now, this is called passive infrared. That's the
Yep.
majority of those sensors. There's a lens on it. Based on the size of the lens, decided the sensitivity, how much you're able to sense it. Now, what the Leslie have is something very high-tech sensors here
So
because
this
you
actually
don't see
has
the sensor
microwave
outside.
motion
Yeah,
sensors
it's high-tech
integrated
sensors,
into
right.
this unit. The microwave can penetrate through the plastic and maintain the IP65 rating, but still give it that great look. Now let's see if we can get it to, let's see how good I am.
Okay, we set for 15 seconds.
Ready? Here we
So,
go.
Don't move, nobody moves.
I might have had too much coffee.
Oh,
Yay, it
good job. So let's see what happened because you don't see the sensors. You don't see anything here, right? So you really don't see anything. So,
I'm really glad that works because I did have quite a bit of coffee this morning.
okay. Where's the sensor?
So the sensor's mounted right here above the LED boards. They're integrated into the design, and then all the stuff's in the back of the house. Again, because it's microwave, it can penetrate through that plastic and still have a good range on it.
Okay, so now that will make your mom feel very, very comfortable because it's your own apartment building. When you go to a parking lot, when you enter in the open area, the sensor will sense you and instantly will turn on. Okay,
you know,
and the fixture still maintain IP65.
Absolutely. But you know what else we have for outdoor?
Yeah.
We have a whole lineup of different LED wall packs in all different designs and wall washers. You can mount them backwards and have them be a wall washer.
Right, that would be perfect for the landlord to save some money on it.
Absolutely.
Right.
And then we also have area lights, so you can actually put those into the parking lots themselves.
Absolutely.
As just
we're talking about
lighting.
full line.
Mm-hmm.
So Leslie, since you're talking about the control units, can we expand a little bit?
Sure. What are we expanding on?
Okay, now let's just start with this.
Ooh,
what you show people is so-called smart box.
So Ellis is holding a deconstructed smart box.
Right.
And our smart box is our Bluetooth chip technology. And this smart stuff goes into, this one can go into your panel, your commercial can, your driver box, wherever it is. And the Bluetooth is just really teeny tiny right in there. In fact, it's so small you can't even see it.
Right.
And that's what we've been doing with these Ellis is we've actually been integrating them into our driver boxes like we have on this panel. So here it is with the LED driver.
Sure.
And you know what, Ellis? This would be a great fit for actually
the hallway
or common space.
Right.
And the neat thing about it too is you can actually, we have a fancy sensor.
Yeah.
This is our smart box sensor that actually has passive infrared and microwave motion sensing technology where you select based on the application along with daylight harvesting. So if I were doing a common room and I had like a tiled or a grid ceiling, or even if I had a hard surface ceiling, I'd probably do some of those smart box with sensors on the DT series products because we have everything from a 0.6 inch or from a 6-inch by 4-foot fixture to a 2x4. So it's just a really great way to kind of give some additional light levels. But if you put that smart sensor on it too, Alice, you could use that daylight harvesting to control the light level within the whole room, or the motion sensing, because let's say, you know, during the day, no one's going to be in there because everybody's at work. And then at night, the lights can just come on as people come and go.
So now we're getting more fancy then.
That's super fancy.
Right. The next 30 days, we'll bring the products in, and you need to pay attention to this because I want you to get a samples on that, which is, let's show you that box. So would you show them the little chips in the close shot so they can see how small it is. Look at how small it is. I want to show you guys how small those chips are. Okay.
It's so small, I don't know if that'll come into focus. Here it is.
Right. So that's small chips. Well, what we are doing next 30 days is we bring in light bulbs like this with Bluetooth mesh sensors in it. So we'll bring in
Bluetooth mesh and sensors in the light bulb.
In the light bulbs. Obviously, you don't need
works with the existing smart stuff.
Right. So in other words, on those things, you don't need a smart box anymore because it's built into it.
It's built into the bulb.
Built into the bulb.
Well, and there's no way to mount that smart box into that little light bulb.
So we look at how the smart box for the panels, but this one is directly built into the light bulbs. So we introduced two different light bulbs, okay? One has a microwave and with the sensors inside. The other one has a microwave with a Bluetooth mesh with no sensors inside, because you do not need every light bulb with the sensors inside.
You really
Now, the software will connect everything together for you. At the meantime, we have this little plug here, okay? The fancy little plug also functions as the sensor plug. Okay. Able to sense it if there's any motion in the room, which direct will trigger to all the light bulbs. So imagine this. Okay. Let's say in my house, I have the side door come from the garage, whatever you come in, right? There's a light above that.
Okay.
After that, I have a kitchen. I have a 3 pendant light over there,
Mm-hmm.
right? Here's what happened. We'll put all those light bulbs, okay, with a Bluetooth mesh, but maybe only 1 or 2 with the sensors in it. So in other words, when I come home with the door, the moment I open the door, not just the lights above the door will light up, also the kitchen light will light up too.
Oh.
So in other words, just imagine that we group room by room, living room or living room, family room or family room, as long as sensors triggers at the same time.
Very cool.
So that's very exciting. That's what we're doing right now. Okay, we really extend into every day using common lights. Think about this. We combine the Bluetooth with the sensor together into the light bulb. Now, the moment we put into the light bulb, we put into all kinds of light bulbs, including all kinds of fixtures.
The
You
A's,
name
the
it.
VRs, the PARs,
Everything.
T8s, anything.
Everything. So if you're interested in that, please let us know. When we receive the samples next couple of weeks, we'll send that to you. You can give a shot. Now, at that time, all you have to do is download the TCP Smart Stuff app.
Yep, smart
And you
stuff.
connect them together. That's it. Very simple.
Very cool.
And a very inexpensive way to do things. Right?
Very
And right now, our smart box with the panels prove to be a very successful story. Everybody just love it. By the way, if you're a distributor
Well,
or the
let's not talk
contacts,
about that. There's great programs going on where you
yes,
can take advantage of them.
yeah,
So definitely reach out to your TCP sales representative if you're a distributor and you want to learn about the great programs that we have going on with our smart stuff right now.
yes, exactly. Okay, you'll be so surprised the stuff we're using.
It's really good.
So again, go back to one more time. We identify the opportunities.
It's a huge market. Like you can't discount this market, and there's different ways within it. I mean,
Right.
whether it's an affordable, simple project where they just want the cheapest
Sure.
A19. We've got that too with our Pro Series products. I mean, cheap T8 tubes, cheap A19, I should say, affordable T8s, VRs, PARs, all of that within our Pro Series because they're built for contractor grade, all the way up to the fancy high-end stuff with Good Life and Illusion and smart stuff, and anything in between.
So that means that after identifying the opportunities, we identified how we as a lighting company will fit into that.
Absolutely.
Right? Color Flip is a big one we think will help people to enhance their daily life.
Upsell.
I think that the landlord can make their tenants feel very happy. They have
At least an
lives.
extra $20 a month.
Right. Obviously, Leslie love to have some fancy to make it fancy. And like I said, the fancy ladies closet people happy, which is using a Good Life for their kitchen, for their bar area. Okay. Obviously, integrated units is a huge
It's a
in
no-brainer.
the no-brainer. Okay. Obviously, at the end, you have to look at outdoor. But today, the new thing I want you to pay attention to is we literally put the Bluetooth plus the sensors, or with the sensor, or without the sensors, into the light bulbs.
Yep.
Okay, when we say into the light bulbs, means we put it into with everything. Now, all of a sudden, your phone, your sensor controls all the movements in your house. You can literally just keep walking in your multifamily. When you leave the kitchen, walking into a living room, right? 5-10 minutes later, your kitchen lights boom off, and your living room lights are already on when you walk into the living room. Just so on and so forth. So you don't need to turn the lights off. We'll constantly turn it off for you and turn on for you. That will really make the tenants feel good, and it will make the landlord happy because 30% savings minimum with the sensors.
Absolutely.
Right? So I hope they'll really help you guys looking to the opportunity. So again, we are going to give away the Bluetooth with the sensors, light bulbs. So just in case you're interested, please reach out to us.
Let us know.
And give us like 2 weeks. We'll send that samples to you. You will enjoy
samples,
it.
yep.
Engineering samples, right?
Yeah.
Sounds good. Any questions?
There weren't any questions, a lot of great comments, so
Okay.
thank you. We appreciate that. And
Yeah.
again, if you've got a project that you're working on, if you want to talk about that project live on the air with us, we'd love to talk about it. I know we've gotten some different ideas that have come in, but there's a form on our website that if you want to fill out, we'd appreciate the feedback because we love talking about lighting.
Exactly. Okay.
Tomorrow, I believe we're talking about UVC.
Yeah, we'll
Hot
talk about
topic.
UVC hot topics. I think there's one person wants to join us talking about UVC, right? Oh, the grow light, not a UVC.
No, tomorrow's UVC.
That's it, UVC, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I don't know
Good.
who this person is, so please enlighten me after this call.
Right. Okay, sounds good, guys. Okay, make sure register with us for the Bluetooth with the sensor or without sensors
Yeah.
products from us. Okay?
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. See you next time. Excellent. Good work.